darkness was not a natural solar eclipse at the time of Christ's Passion. And it came to pass at the 6th hour, and there was darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour, the sun failing. So for 3 hours there was darkness. In the hours when Christ was suffering, a miraculous universal sign occurs, which we pass over and do not delve into to see. What was this darkness? We have all perhaps at one time thought that it might have been a solar eclipse, which the unbelievers will attribute in time, as always. But it happened by chance, they'll say, at that particular time that the moon met and entered in front of the sun. But is that so? Christ's Passion one day just before the Jewish Passover, which is celebrated on the full moon of the spring equinox, when the day and night are 12 hours long. And we all know that during the full moon, the sun and moon are diametrically opposite each other. When the sun rises, the moon sets, and vice versa. Therefore, for the 6th hour, from the 6th hour of the day until the 9th, that's from 12 noon to 3 in the afternoon, the moon was at the bottom of the earth at a distance of 12 hours from the sun, and there's no case of a normal solar eclipse. So how can we explain this, and what can we say? Is it an exaggeration by Christians? No, it's not. And we also have testimonies from non-Christians about this miraculous sign. It was also visible in Greece and even in Rome. Even the Caesar of Rome asked Pontius Pilate what was going on there. The Greek Phlegon mentions in his Chronicle 12, in the 4th year of the second Olympiad, a special and strange darkness occurred at night at the 6th hour of the day, so that even stars appeared in the sky. A great earthquake occurred in Bithynia. 2 other Greek travelers at the time, in Heliopolis in Egypt, Apollophanes and Dionysius, who was the first bishop of Athens. He was a disciple of St. Paul the Apostle ever since Paul came to visit the Athenians. So Dionysius and Apollophanes felt such awe and fear at this unprecedented total 3-hour shadowing of the sun. They were young astronomers in Egypt. Dionysius was 24 years old at the time. That they cried out, "An unknown fleshly God suffers, for whom all things are darkened and shaken." That is, some unknown God suffers, for whom everything was darkened and shaken. So these two had a lot of astronomical knowledge, and what happened at the full moon of spring equinox seemed to them a total paradox. And even more paradoxical, that it did not happen when the usual course of the moon in a solar eclipse, not little by little over covering it, the sun that is, or uncovering it as it is followed in natural eclipses, but also covering it all in these 3 hours, which is supernatural and paradoxical. And they returned to Athens after their tour of Egypt. They discussed it with the other Athenians who also experienced it. They researched it for years, and they were unable to give an explanation. Almost 20 years later, the Apostle Paul comes to Athens and preaches the gospel on the well-known rock of the Areopagus, which is basically an outcrop just across from the Acropolis, the Parthenon of Athens, beginning his discourse about the unknown God who suffered, who was crucified, died, and rose again, Acts of the Apostle, chapter 17. Most people laughed, but an Areopagite named Dionysius approached him and asked for more details about this, of this unknown God, where, how, and when it happened. It was precisely the time and the event that he experienced as a traveler in Egypt. He found what he had been asking for so many years, and immediately became the first Athenian Christian. Who is this? He was the first bishop of Athens. Saint Dionysius the Areopagite, the first bishop and patron saint of Athens, who celebrated October 3rd, he preached Christ all the way to France, where he was beheaded at Montmartre. He was one of the headless saints who picked up his head and took it up to the hill on Montmartre. We do not know exactly what this point of darkness was. Origen says the sun hid itself because of what he saw happening to his creator, Other fathers of the church say that it happened in the Old Testament when, with Joshua, who stopped the sun, the 24-hour period that even modern astronomy admits had been lost to time. Such a paradox may have happened, and the moon ran 12 hours ahead and stopped for 3 hours, covering the sun. In fact, St. Nicodemus of Mount Athos has made a beautiful and convincing diagram explaining how the moon deviated from its normal course and found itself in front of the sun. As much as it may sound like a joke, a myth, and a fairy tale to many, this happened on the full moon of the spring equinox, and at the specific time of Christ's crucifixion. Would Saint Dionysius the Areopagite be beheaded for a lie that he did not believe in? Where God wills, the natural order is defeated. The most amazing thing is that this darkness had been prophesied by the prophet Amos almost 800 years before Christ, and it shall be in the last day, says the Lord God, that the sun at noon shall go down, and the light shall be darkened upon the earth by day. Amos chapters 8, verse 9. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.